Hi friends, from today onwards we'll study Tribal India, that is section B of paper 2, a very interesting and dynamic component of our anthropology optional. Even in the exam also, majority of the indirect questions and current affairs based questions will be asked in this section. It doesn't mean that all the questions in this section are indirect and current affairs based. It is not so. But in order to answer indirect questions, current affairs based questions, you must have comprehensive understanding of entire tribal India. Different topics which are mentioned in our tribal India are interlinked. So if you know that interlinkage, you can easily integrate different components of our syllabus, or you can easily integrate the points from different topics, and you can give one comprehensive answer to a question, whether it is indirect question or current affairs based question in the exam. That's why to have that comprehensive understanding of our tribal India, will follow problem oriented approach. That means we'll study all the problems once, after that the measures taken, after that the impact created by those measures, and finally the role of anthropology in tribal development. Now let us discuss what is the subject content. We have segregated different topics which are there in tribal India under these categories. We'll discuss accordingly. In problems, poverty and indebtedness, unemployment and underemployment, land alienation, that means separation of land from the hands of the tribals, malnutrition and low health standards in tribals, low literacy in tribals, pseudo tribalism, and the impact of industrialization and urbanization will be studied. In this section, that means in the measures category, we'll study the policies of the government. Policy is nothing but orientation of the government. Please remember, a policy is a statement of the government regarding its future actions. Whenever government announces a policy, it doesn't mean that it is going to give us a legal guarantee. It is not so. It is the statement of the government regarding its future action. It may or may not follow. All the provisions which are mentioned in the policy may not be implemented. For the implementation of the provisions of a particular policy, sometimes it may take 1 decade, sometimes 2 decades, 3 decades also. But whatever it may be, whenever we study the policy of the government, we'll come to know about the orientation of the government, the attitude of the government, the approach of the government with regard to tribal development. That's why we'll study the policies followed by different governments. That means during British period, the British government followed one type of policy. After independence, we followed another type of policy. That's why what are the policies followed by different governments? And what are the constitutional measures? In the constitution, certain protective measures and developmental measures were incorporated for the sake of protection and development of tribals who are the weaker sections of our society. That's why we will study the constitutional measures for the sake of protection and development of tribals, legislative measures, that means laws. Even before the present rulers, India was ruled by a number of rulers. That means after independence. Of course, they are our representatives only. But they enacted certain laws in order to give legal guarantees to the people. Here, we will study prevention of atrocities on SCs and STs. An act was enacted in order to prevent the atrocities on SCs and SCs. SCs, STs Prevention of Atrocities Act, 1989. After that, PISA, Panchayat Extension to the Scheduled Areas, 1996. After that, study Forest Rights Act, 2006, and Land Acquisition Act, 2013. And these are the laws which are providing certain legal guarantees to the tribal people for their protection as well as for their development. We'll study all those laws and their working. After that, we'll study the administrative measures. Even the present day government also has some flexibility. It can formulate and implement certain programs. Those programs are schemes, but they are not legal guarantees. Those programs and schemes will be studied under administrative measures. And apart from the government, NGOs are also contributing for the sake of tribal development. We will study all these things. First, the attitude of the government. After that, our constitutional measures, legislative measures, administrative measures. At the time of independence, our constitutional makers incorporated certain provisions. Even after independence, till now, that means before the present rulers, certain laws were enacted. The present government was given discretion in the form of administrative measures and the role of NGOs. Later, we'll study impact. Impact or social change during colonial period and during post-colonial period. Once upon a time, tribal people were isolated. Tribal areas were opened up after the entry of the British people. Before that, India was ruled by a number of rulers. Even though the rulers changed, their lives remained untouched. But after the advent of the Britishers, they opened up the tribal areas and number of changes were brought about in the lives of the tribals. That's why the social change during colonial period we'll study. And after that, the social change during post-colonial period. That means after independence, we started governing ourselves. We brought about number of changes. What are the changes brought about in the lives of the tribals? What are the positives and negatives? Majority of the changes are negative changes. That's why the tribal people have a lot of discontent. That's why that discontent was channelized in the form of tribal unrest, that means the tribal movements. Sometimes in the form of demand for autonomy, demand for separate states. In extreme cases, demand for separation from the Indian Union. We'll study all those problems, all those conflicts. Whenever we gather some people on the basis of region, religion, caste, language, then that is called ethnicity. Whenever that we feeling is developed on the basis of region, religion, caste, language, then that is called ethnicity. Whenever there are conflicts because of this ethnicity, then those conflicts are ethnic conflicts. Regionalistic demands are ethnic conflicts. Caste-based conflicts are ethnic conflicts. Religion-based conflicts are ethnic conflicts. Language-based conflicts are ethnic conflicts. Our tribal people, they have their own distinct language, and they have ownership attachment with a particular region. Different tribal people are confined to different regions. In order to fight against the government or in order to fight against the exploiters, all the people started uniting on the basis of their attachment or on the basis of their belongingness to a particular region. That is nothing but regionalism. Regionalism is nothing but a form of ethnic conflict. In our syllabus, they mention specifically what is meant by ethnicity, the concept of ethnicity and ethnic conflicts. There we'll study different varieties of tribal movements. And after that, what we can do, the role of anthropology in the understanding of this ethnicity. That means regionalism, communalism, and nation integration. And the role of anthropology in tribal development and rural development. This is the overview of our syllabus of Tribal India. For your easy understanding, we'll start first with the measures. After discussing measures, we'll start discussing the problems. Then only you can easily understand the tribal India. First, we'll start the measures. After that, we'll discuss the problems. After that, we'll discuss the impact. And finally, what we can do. That means the role of anthropology in tribal.